Greetings. Introducing Voices of Festival, a brand new podcast series from the International African Arts Festival, created to keep you connected as we count down to our 55th year of culture, creativity, and community. Each week, hear directly from the artists, dancers, musicians, vendors, and community members who make this festival an unforgettable experience. Tune in every Thursday at 8 p.m. on YouTube for Voices of Festival. Celebrate the culture, feel the rhythm, be part of the journey.
Blessed peace.
Peace, peace, peace. How
Alafia.
are you?
What's good? Wagwan. Wagwan, blessed there. All that good stuff. We're here. I am Damon Beware Van Zant, and I'm standing in for our host, esteemed host, Ademi Bandeli, and I'm joining our host, Sakina Nzinga Kano.
Peace. Alafia Shay Lafiani. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. This was a crazy week this last week, man. You know, we had 55.
Yes.
55 was off the chain. The weather was off the chain, but we're going to talk about that in another conversation, especially my experience with it. But I'm really glad that we had this experience. 55 was what we hoped that it would be. At least for me. I mean, what do you think?
I thought it went very well. I thought we had a great turnout. I thought we had great performances. I've only been getting good feedback thus far, and I feel really good about it. Definitely had some healing experiences, and we're here on the other side. So now it's time to talk about it, keep the momentum going, and strive better for next year. But we're in our new location, and we were a bit nervous about it, and we made it. We made it through, so it was good. It was good.
And
So before we start, we gotta give praise. We gotta give praise. So we're so excited to talk about it. We have a wonderful show for everyone today. So, but first, let us bow our heads and recenter and give praise and honor to our ancestors. So I start off with saying Ibaye Bayantanu, which is a Yoruba term. It means to give honor and to give praise. So please just a moment of silence with me while I go down our list of honorable ancestors. So I will say Ibaye Bayantanu, Brother Litana Egongon, Ibaye, Mama Stephanie Weaver, Ibaye, Brother Abubadika, Ibaye, Sister Asada Shakur, Ibaye, Baba Jitu Weyusi, Ibaye, Baba Mze Moyo, Ibaye, Baba Stan Kennard, Ibaye, Baba Dick Gregory, Ibaye, Kudrat Bandele, Ibaye, Imam Jamil Amin, aka H. Rap Brown, Ibaye Nana Kwekua Wusu Aboje, Ibaye Nana Dinizulu, Ibaye Brother Hugh Masakela, Ibaye Brother Bob Law, Ibaye Sister Mantu Law, Ibaye Baba Abu Bakar, Ibaye E.S. Salima Moyo Smith, Ibaye Mama Kaumba, Ibaye Mama Amanisha, Ibaye Mama Ladi, Ibaye Baba Kwame Ishangi, Ibaye Baba Michael Olatunji, Ibaye Baba Rabo Jumatatu, Ibaye Brother Howard, Ibaye Brother Yusuf Iman, Ibaye Sister Dara Iman, Ibaye Talivo Donna Cumberbatch, Ibaye Mama Robinson. Ibaye, I think I said Mama Koumba. Ibaye Brother Atiba Cord. Ibaye Brother Al Van. Ibaye Brother Sam Penn. Ibaye Brother Clarence Eastman. Ibaye Brother Sun Ra. Ibaye Brother Freddie Hubbard. Ibaye Mama Stephanie Weaver. Ibaye Baba Lloyd Weaver. Ibaye Baba Alfred. Ibaye Baba Alafia Shango Dehi. Ibaye Baba Aluka Shewali. Ibaye Mama Abimbola. Ibaye Baba Heru. Ibaye Baba Paua. Ibaye Sister Nisa Van Zant. Ibaye Sister Jamia Van Zant. Ibaye Nana Kweyal Ajiapon. Ibaye Baba Canute Bernard Jr. Ibaye Brother Bernard Kinsey. Ibaye Brother Danny Mixon. Ibaye to all of our ancestors, our freedom fighters, our community leaders whose shoulders we stand upon. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Okay.
That segment is so important. And let me just really quickly, briefly explain to everyone why. Because as African people, as African descendants, everything that we do, we have to pay homage and give honor to those who came before us. They pass life on to us. So it's our duty, our responsibility. It's our that we have to acknowledge them, because without them, it would be no us. And just like one day, those who are coming after us, they're going to be saying our names in those prayers. So
Yeah.
we have to be able to do that, and it's from generation to generation. So, hey, look here, Sakina. I mean, 55 was off the chain. Um, I have to tell you, it was being in a new venue. We were we don't know what to expect. We know, coming from Commodore Barry, what it was like for us over there. We know what it was like for us at Boys and Girls. We're going to recap some of that today. But being at a new venue, starting out with fresh, some things are going to not be, some things will be different than how they were before. Some things are going to be right. So as a result, we want to take a look at some of them things that worked, some of the things that didn't work, and to kind of chime in. We have a panel tonight. First of all, we have a sister that left us a post on Facebook, yes, and she talked about some of the things that were different. She didn't really complain, but she definitely spoke her mind, and we invited her here tonight so we could be able to have that conversation with her, so she can shed light on experience, and we can shed light on some of the things that she may not know. Also, we have the vendor coordinator. Now, she had a challenge with some of the vendors, so we're going to let her speak to that. And then we have Brother Barack Moyo. Now, this is my brother since I was a kid, since I was single digits. I've known him practically all my life. His father, Baba Mz Moyo, plays such an intricate role in having the festival at Boys and Girls, and the growth and the development of the festival for many years. So we got that brother on, and we got one of the vendors who is serving our people. Sister Sharonda may have ran into at the festival over the weekend, but we have a really outstanding cast for you guys, and we're excited to bring them on. What do you think, Sakina? What's your take on it?
I am excited. I am excited. We have a sister, Mashari Wally, from Uniquely Wired, who I haven't seen in so long, but I reunited with her this festival, and I would just want to showcase her pieces and her products, which are like she's a healing artisan. So I'm excited to introduce you to her.
Let's start with her.
And then also to get the conversation going about, everyone's feedback, because that's one thing that is very important for us. We want to hear your feedback from what happened this festival, especially because we were in a new location and such.
Well, let's get this ball rolling. We're not going to hold it up anymore. I'm going to start off with Mshari, because she's vendor, had experience. She definitely was working the crowd. She got to connect with people and meet with people and show off her crafts and her work. So we're going to bring that sister on first. So Mshari, welcome to the stage, and we're glad to have you.
Peace,
Yes,
peace,
yes,
you
yes,
guys.
yes.
Peace, my family.
Mhm.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Artisans play such a major role in the festival. So share with us what your experience was this year on the 55th.
Well, first I want to thank you guys for the opportunity of being on this platform. And kudos to just recapping. That's something different that I think all vending communities need to start doing, just to like show how much we not only want to be a part of something, but also hear from the people who have played a part in such a amazing event.
Mhm.
So my brand is Uniquely Wired. I've been around for 13 years. And as Sakina said, I have not even seen her in 10 years. But when we met, I was out vending and pretty much just starting my brand. And I have since traveled to many different places and did events different places, and then I pretty much settled in a spot that we're known to be on its 52nd year in business, which is Nicholas, Brooklyn. It's
Mm.
pretty much a pillar in the community, and recently it's been going through like its changes, and trying to get the trying to get our people to support again and invest in within the business, because they're at a time where they could use our help. So shout out to Nicholas,
Mhm.
Brooklyn, because if it
Yes.
wasn't for her, which helped me with even being a part of you guys 55th anniversary of the festival, I wouldn't have known about it. I
Mm.
had just moved back to New York. I've been in Vegas the past 5 years, and this is actually my first event coming back home that I chose to
Mm.
do within a community. But just even with I've been going to these festivals since I can remember as a child. My grandparents were really into it back when it was on Fulton Street, and really involved with it back then, to where I that's
Mhm.
all I knew. And it was always good to see the community and just the different types of art that came through there, because my grandparents' home is full of the big statues and all that stuff. So this was my second year um, doing the festival, but the first one was before I left New
Mm.
York. I did it back at the Commodore, and if I have to take away anything that I felt from this past one, I enjoyed seeing familiar faces. I enjoyed being amongst, like, I mean, when I say it was like a reunion, seeing a lot of the people I haven't seen in years, including you,
Mhm.
Sakina. Like, I still at shock, like, wow. It just made me realize, like, not only have you been away for so long, but it's just one of those things where I like that everyone since I last seen has been, catapulting on their artistry or their business, or just thriving in what they're doing to support the
Mhm.
community. So I enjoyed the festival. Outside the rain that happened on the first and last day,
Mhm.
I felt that we needed that. We needed that rain to cleanse. That was the ancestors coming through with that energy. So I appreciated that. I really, like I said, enjoyed what one of the main things I did see that I really enjoyed about the festival was seeing Black love. I seen a lot of elder couples coming through. It was just a lot of
Mhm.
support and just a loving feeling of just seeing that. Um, and
Yes.
although, oh, sorry, but go
Mhm.
ahead. But it
No,
was nice seeing
I
that
was just
part.
going to say, like, I just wanted to piggyback off of what you were saying. Like, festival is like the ultimate Black family reunion of like all different sects of Black people from everywhere. And I thought it was really cool that when you came back, this was your first event, your first stop. So thank you for
Yes,
that. Hmm.
yes. I
But
I really enjoyed. But go ahead. Any
I
questions?
want to talk more about like what you do exactly, like in terms of your art, your artistry, your products. Like, can you describe them? Because the name of your business is Uniquely Wired, and you specialize in like handcrafted jewelry of specifically copper, but you work with brass. Can you tell me more about it?
So yes,
Mm-hmm.
my brand is Uniquely Wired M. It's actually based upon being unique, and I'm wired to different fields, and my name starts with the M, so the M is for that. But I'm wired in the sense of like I do art, I paint, I act, I sing, I do a field of things, but wired went well with the fact that I also work with copper and just wire wrapping and things of that nature. I
Mm-hmm.
I started getting into wire wrapping in 2008, but my way of wanting to put my work out there was not to be what everyone was used to seeing. I wanted to like show different ways to create using wires as a form of making wearable art and
Mm-hmm.
tapping into how I can put my artistry in a way that will help heal and come up with different things that would that made a standing like that stand out, that made things like a conversational piece. I did bring two pieces that I'll share with you, but I wanted to create, because I am somebody that you can't see from face bio. I'm actually legally blind, and I did a
Mm-hmm.
lot with my hands, and I never gave myself that excuse like, okay, just because you're blind, just sit back and collect a check. No, I wanted to be, since I am that way, let me tap into my third eye, and what comes to me will work through my hands.
Mm.
So I like
So,
to
so wait, give
fix.
me
Go
an
ahead.
example because you said wearable art that also heals.
Yes. Yes.
What does that mean? Like, can you
Okay.
can you give me an example of that?
Okay, well, you brought up copper. I do work with copper, and yes, I work with other metals, but copper is a living metal.
Mm,
And wearing it in certain places on your body, it helps promote red blood cells. It pulls toxins out your body. It helps with arthritis. We use copper in our devices. We have it in our buildings, giving energy. So I'm like, okay, think of ways that we could actually wear it on our bodies that can also give that same energy. And so I created pieces. Example, this is one of my known pieces. This is a pair of shell phone amplifiers. And if you
mm,
look closely, I'm working with Mother Nature's natural tools, the conch shells, we got crystals, the beads are bamboo, and this copper wire wrapped around it. You wear it as a device on your ears where it gives off that white noise, but it also amplifies everything you hear around you. And it like puts you in a whole nother frequency. So it's great for meditating with. We're
mm,
using devices and putting things in our ears that is causing radiation and just darkening certain parts of our body, rather it be your phone in your pocket. Best believe if you put one of those those I forgot the type of lights against your body, that heat, that body heat thing, it'll be dark in those areas because of the type of radiation against our bodies. But using something that
mm,
comes natural, you can sit with this and meditate in it, and it'll calm your nerves, calm your whatever you could be feeling, as well as charging you. So
yeah,
I
chakra. So you're
yes, I
you're
was
you're working with stones, metals, and
yes,
frequencies
exactly. So
to
even with
so
these,
the
this is a
for the
pair.
wearable art. Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is a pair with amethyst. Amethyst is great for your crown chakra. So I like to use the purples in the head area. So this is great for like vivid dreams, lucid psychic abilities, lucid dreams, just thinking on a whole, just thinking your thoughts through, but charging your crown. And I
Mm,
don't call it downloads that you may get, I call them crown loads you'll get when wearing these, rather it be just wanting to manifest your next move and things like that. So this is like one of the pieces that I consider like a piece of wearable art. Is yes, it's made with wire, but it's definitely it's on a whole nother realm. And
mm,
sometimes
Let me ask you
that
this.
go ahead.
Um, I love the way that you're healing, you're creating art. A sister that's legally blind, people, viewers, I want you to understand. Hold on, before we get there, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because without those likes and subscribes, we cannot do this. So we do this because of those likes and subscribes. So we're grateful for that. But The sister here, she's legally blind. So just imagine what senses she has to tap into, these divine senses, in order to be able to create this type of art, this type of healing for our people. Now, as you're out there with your products and your wares, you're running into everyone at the festival. Give us an overall of some of the people that you had interacted with at the 55th.
Well, I interacted with people who I've seen wanting to see something different. And when I say when they would come, and it's nothing against anyone who was around me because everyone sold beautiful things. But I did hear certain stuff like, oh my gosh, I've been looking for something that I haven't seen before. Or had people like questioning, like, what is that? How do you wear it? Where did you get that from? What made you, and to me those type of interactions I enjoy versus just taking a buck. I want to connect mostly with my community or people who have never seen, because I love talking about what I am creating. And it's also to say like, hey, if I can do it, you can too. And just going back to the fact that yes, this side, this eye is completely gone, where I can't see out of it. These glasses only work for this eye. Me wanting to tap in is like all my other senses were even more like amplified off of that.
Mhm.
And I do think that when people did come across my work outside of them, because they don't know about that side of me as far as being blind, but they see like, okay, this is handmade, and you're a melanated sister. I'm also a mom, I'm even making a time to do that, which I do encourage artists or people to understand that there's a lot that goes into vendors even just being at these spaces, because we do put a lot of work into what we do, that I just
Mhm.
enjoyed the fact that people stopped and was admirable or like so dope that they had to own it, had to get it,
Mhm.
so that's something that I enjoyed about it.
Well, we salute you, sister. And you are just one example of the many artisans that come to festival. Like, festival is not just an experience to go shopping, but it's an experience where you will come back healed. you know,
Yeah.
our vendors are, focused on alignment, healing, vibrations, and it's just another level of craftsmanship at our space, which we call home, within
Right.
our community. So thank you, sister. I'm
Yes.
sorry.
One
Appreciate
more
you.
thing I'll
Hmm.
share before we part. These were one of the most popular pieces that left me at the festival, and it was an honor to do it because I debuted these at the festival. So I'll put them on because being, you know, always with glasses, I've always admired funky and unique frames and just something different. So this was my take on being at the festival and knowing that one of the main things you will see at this type of festival is cowrie shell. Cowrie
Hmm.
shell is like was and to me still is the original currency.
Yes,
So
yes, ma'am.
me having them on my eyes in this form, I named this collection I See My Money. So, and I see where my money goes to. So these are the translation to that. And um with that, this is like one of my favorite pieces that I've been working on of recent. And
I
so yeah, you
love
see it
it.
on
I
my
love
eyes, and
it.
then you see it on my pineal
Mhm.
gland. So it's right there also on my third eye. So I'm seeing it all around me. you
I
know.
love it. I love it. So what do we
Thank
call
you.
these? What do we call this piece?
This is I See My Money. This is part of
I
the I
see
See My
my
Money
money
collection.
glasses. I say, okay.
Yes.
So
You
where
can
can we
find
find
me.
you?
I'm about to say.
Uniquelywiredm.com.
Yes, you find me at uniquelywiredm.com. And I just
Okay.
recently, it's a month old. I have a store now in Dumbo. So you can also find me in person where I sell and I do classes based around my shell phones where you can come and put a shell phone on and wear sound and do a sound bath. As well as
Okay.
you can find unique pieces like my I See My Money frames and other things like that at my storefront at 145 Front Street, Suite 17.
All right. All right. Thank you.
You know,
You're
Thank
so
you.
welcome. Thank you
So
for having me.
welcome to Voices of Festival. We're gonna have our next guest come on. Well, should we bring two of them out at the same time?
let's bring out this sister, Sharonda, right?
Okay.
Because she has
Yeah.
a very unique perspective. And we want you to
Mm-hmm.
stay with us, I'm sorry, don't leave. And then we're gonna bring
Okay, I'll
out
be here.
Charles also. Brother Charles is our vendor coordinator. So I'm pretty sure that there's some things that the sister has to say that Brother Charles can speak to better than anybody else can. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So first, we're gonna bring on Sister Sharonda. She's been attending the festival for years. She came this year. She left us a comment on social media, and that's what brought her here today to have this conversation online in front of our viewers. So, with no further ado, please welcome Sharonda.
Sharonda is perfect. Mm-hmm.
And with no further ado, this brother he is really the hands, the ears, the feet, the eyes, the toes, the ears, the lips, the hair, the everything behind our vendors and making sure that they're taken care of properly, making sure that they get what they need, and making sure that they handle with professionalism and excellence. This is Brother Charles, everybody. But I want to make sure that I'm saying his name correctly. It's Asukale. Asukale. I believe that's what it is. Brother Charles, did I say it correctly?
Asukile. Asukile, welcome. Thank you for having me on the show, family.
No, no doubt.
Yes. Peace, 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 everyone. Wonderful. Thank you for coming.
I love the panel. Sharonda,
Mm-hmm.
you left a comment on our Facebook page, and I want you to share with us, share with the viewers for one of our vendors who were there. The vendor coordinator is here also, and this is just so we can have a free space to share our feelings and to address any concerns or issues that we can make better next year. This isn't an attack. This isn't a gang up or an ambush. I want to be very clear about that. So, with no further ado, please, sister, share with us what your experience of 55 was and some of the comments that you share with us on social media, please. We can't hear you. Oh no. Your mic is on.
Can you?
Can you
Yes.
hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear
Okay.
you. Welcome.
Now we can't see you.
When I have my phone on airplane mode, it keeps jumping on and off exactly but I know I did reference the vendors and I've been coming to the festival, like you said, for years. I- Not when it was on Fulton Street, but when it um
Go
went
back.
to Commodore Barry Park. I was at every single one. When I first started coming, I was coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then I was like,
Mm,
okay, I'm wearing myself out. Let me go on Fridays and Saturdays. Then I was wearing myself out more. I said, okay, I'll do Friday and Sunday. So I kept switching it around. And then as I was, moving around and talking to different vendors and vendors that was seeing me every year, um, they were like, some would be missing on Fridays, or some would leave on Saturday nights and be missing on Sunday. So as I'm speaking to people, they're telling me what's going on. Listen, the best day for you to come is probably Saturday because people that come from out of state like to leave on Saturday night. So I started doing that. um Commodore Barry Park was a different vibe. It was bigger, it was more, it was overwhelming, and I like being overwhelmed. So it was vendors everywhere. You walk in, it was all the food. The other side, it was a bunch of vendors in the field. Then I didn't even when I kind of first started going, I didn't even know there was a whole big, huge back area. So it was this time it was a little different for me. And a friend of mine that I always used to come with, he kind of broke off from me because when I come to the festival, I stop at every single table. Every single one. And he's like, I'm not coming out here with you no more because you literally like come out of one, go to the next, come out of one, go. He said, I'm not doing it no more. So when I told him about this time, I like practically begged him, like, It's in a new park. The park is bigger. I pulled it up on Google Maps. It's huge. This is going to be huge. I'm telling you, come. And he's like, no, I can't. I can't do you in these festivals. I can do the festival, but I can't do you. So I'm like, oh man, I said, well, I'm going anyway. Um, and when I first got there, it was of course further out. I wasn't really expecting that, but the where I walked in at, it was all the food vendors and some of the other little vendors, but certain certain vendors that I'm used to going to, and I think I may have seen two um uniquely wired. I definitely stopped at your table, and before I left I was supposed to come back, but I almost like I had to sit down because it was so hot out there, and I had to get my mind right because and somebody saw me walking down past the other vendors on the walkways. I can't remember exactly where, and he said, hey, did you go down there? And he said, you look hot, sis. Like, let me get you a water. Thank you. He gave me the water. He said, drink it slow. And he said, when you get down there, you're in for like a big surprise. Just be ready. And, I said, okay. I took my time. I got down there, and it was a lot of vendors, but I was expecting to, I guess, see
You overwhelmed?
right, the overcrowdedness, that everybody kind of being on top of each other, but there was a big open space that everybody was around. So I'm looking for brother Hassan. I'm not sure if any of you know Hassan. He makes the leather sandals. Every year I spend $300 with him buying sandals, and I'm asking people. I walked around twice. I sat down on the bench. I ate some fruit. I got back up. I said, maybe I missed something. I walked back around again, and then I ran into somebody that usually see in Commodore Barry Park. And I asked her about him and another guy. I don't remember the other guy's name. And she said, I know exactly who you're talking about. He usually hangs his shoes on the fence with a nail or whatever it is. And she said, he's not here. And I said, was he here yesterday? And she was like, no. She said, I don't think he's coming. So I was like, oh my God. Then I started looking for someone else. So at one point, I think I had passed the table. I believe I was on my way out, and a sister said um she said something to me, and I said, This is different. This is a lot different." And she said, "You look disappointed." And I said, "I am a little, because a lot of the vendors are not here that I'm used to, buying food from, or clothing from, or shoes from, or jewelry from, or stones and things like that." And she said, well, she made a comment, and she was like, well, that's kind of a good thing because it makes room for us new people. And I said, yeah, oh yeah, right, yeah.
Brother Charles,
And she
I
said,
love.
that didn't help, did it? And I was like, nah, not really, but I get what you're getting at.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it was just, and it's just me, it's just me. But when I sat on the bench, I started, conversing with other people that was around me, and a few people kind of shared the same sentiments, like, this is way different. I like the other park, and and some people don't like change.
Brother Charles, as a vendor coordinator, I'm pretty sure you're familiar with the vendor that she mentioned, Brother Hassan, and some of the other vendors that she talked about. Speak to this sister's experience about there not being the same vendors, or as not many vendors. She was a little disappointed. What would you say to that, brother?
Well, we certainly had a variety of new vendors and return vendors like Sister Shari, and I'm glad to say that we had another vendor that also was working with the metals and the sacred gemstones and minerals, modern relics. So and she had some fantastic things. So she had these giant ankhs that were tuning forks that were made out of platinum and uh, other rare not minerals, but how would you say it? Rare metals. She had some fantastic stuff. So we have to, as the festival goes on, unfortunately, sometimes people age out, sometimes people retire, and they don't show up. But this year we did. Normally the festival has 200 to 300 or so vendors. This year we only had space to fit approximately 167, which there was 167 spaces altogether, but some vendors had two spaces. I know one vendor particularly, he got four spaces, and he had three on the White Nile and one on the Blue Nile area. Unfortunately, with the change in venue, and sometimes there's change. And this year we didn't have, as in Commodore Barry Park, we had access pretty much to the whole park. This year we had access to a limited area within the park with hopes of expanding as the years go by. Like there's a baseball field in this park, and there's also a basketball court, and there's some tennis courts across the street. And the upper half of the park going towards Eastern Parkway, we did not have access to per the agreement with the Parks and Recreation Department. So hopefully in more years, in coming years, if we're going to stay at this park, we'll have access to more of the park, and we'll be able to offer more of our vendors. But some vendors also, like was said, everybody doesn't like change. So some vendors were a bit skittish because of the new venue, and they didn't know how it was going to do and if it was worth the investment, and so they chose to opt out this year. But we hope with the coming years that those vendors will return once they see that the location is a viable location. It is a very viable location because it's surrounded by several. It's like smack dab in the middle of several historically black neighborhoods: Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, Weeksville, Flatbush, East Flatbush, Canarsie, the Rock. I mean, you look
Brownsville.
any
Yep.
direction you look. If you keep walking, there's a black neighborhood. If you go in that direction, whether it's going towards Rochester Avenue, you're going to Crown Heights. If you go past Buffalo Avenue the other way, you're going into East New York and Brownsville. If you go up towards Eastern Parkway, you're going now. It's still continuing Crown Heights and into Bed-Stuy and Bushwick. So the location was a unique, a great location to be able to access all those different neighborhoods, and there was a lot of access to public transportation where we are versus Commodore Barry Park, where you had to get off the F and try to figure out your way to how to get over there or go downtown and get that bus. And that bus always confused me because the bus looks like it's going towards Red Hook, but it's actually going over to that direction. So we hope
Exactly.
in coming years that those vendors that she so fondly speaks of will decide to come back if they haven't retired.
hmm and I want to speak to your passion because what you're describing is the excitement that one has leading up to festival. That you're going to see that one of a kind craftsman and pieces that you can only get once a year. So
Mhm.
um I salute you for your passion, but also want to apologize that you weren't able to see the people that you were looking forward to. And also speaking to you know w- the experience of just being out there with that heat. We were all like really trying to balance ourselves with that heat.
Yeah, it was
And
beaten.
we learned a lot in terms
Yeah,
of what real hydration is. It's not just drinking water.
right,
It's
right,
watermelon and coconut water and
right,
anything with electrolytes. You need
right.
electrolytes.
And we want to shout
Sister
out the
Sharonda,
Coconut Man.
were
Oh,
you able to circle the whole park in terms of the White Nile and the Blue Nile? Like how long did it take for you to walk through?
I was there probably for maybe 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours, something like that, because
Mhm.
I did sit down and I, I'm not exactly sure what's the white Nile and a blue Nile. I may have missed a sign somewhere, but I know that
Mm-hmm.
I did walk up some stairs because I was like, oh, wow, it's more vendors up there because I see tents. And then I get up
Mm-hmm.
there and it's like families having picnics and things like that. And I was like, oh,
Oh.
okay, I'm turning around and going back downstairs. I was there for quite a few hours. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
it was blazing hot. I tried to watch the performances and it was smack dead in the sun. And I was like, oh no, this is not going to work. So I have to go in the shade and go sit back down. So I sat down for a while. I ate my fruit, listened to some music. But just, full transparency here at Commodore Barry Park, I would be there from 12 in the afternoon until 9:30 at night, the whole entire day.
Mm-hmm.
I'd spend the whole
Mm-hmm.
day, get me some food, sit on the grass, and and again, hopefully in the coming years it'll be different because it doesn't appear that we'll be going back to Commodore Barry Park. So
Yeah.
Thank you for your support over the years, Sister Shalonda. And this was important for us because we want to be able to serve our community, serve them with excellence, and serve you guys well. And the feedback that we get from you is very important on us accomplishing our mission. So we're grateful for you coming on here this evening, Sister Shari. Thank you.
thank you.
Baba Charles, your respect is way up there, Baba, all the way, and I really appreciate you for just doing the work that you did. I mean, many people don't really get to see what it's like dealing with whether it's 160 vendors, 200 vendors, or 300 vendors. And this is just one person. So I want you to understand what it's like for him. This is a brother that he probably had the office open from 2 to 6 every day, but he would 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. He was going in at 8 p.m., 8 a.m. and leaving at 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning. So you talk about 12, 13, 14 hours being able to service our vendors. So when we have an attendant saying, hey, I'm not happy with something, it's important for us to really get to the core of that so we can
Yeah,
be able to address that issue. Does that make
yeah.
sense, Sean?
Of course, absolutely. Understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Baba?
and the last few days, the 3 days prior to the festival, I was there for all 3 days straight. It's funny, Baba Shagun. I don't think he believes me when I tell him I was up for 3 days straight. I came in the office on my day off on the Tuesday, so I could do some of the placards and the signage and things. And I put my bag down. I turned around to get a table from my back storage area. And when I turned around, somebody was standing there in the doorway, and I was like, "What are you doing?" But I couldn't turn them away. Because of parks department requirements, we had a couple of forms like they had to get if they didn't have business insurance, they had to have business liability insurance, and we have two vendors that we work with that specialize in working with vendors for festivals, Next Insurance and Act Insurance, and so some people are not very computer savvy, so I helped them to do that. And then there was the most difficult thing was this form called the CE 200, and that's what they call an attestation letter, and basically it's saying that I'm exempt from having to have workers' comp insurance as a business and and disability insurance because I don't have any permanent employees. And that thing was so difficult, and a lot of vendors needed my help with that. So I came in at 8 o'clock that day. I think with that particular day, I finished with vendors at 11 o'clock, and then I was able to start doing some of the things I actually came in on my day off to do, and it was like that for the next 2 days, and then it was Thursday and the load in day, so that I went directly from the office out into the park. But yeah, it was, and this was my first year, mind you, doing that. Previously I worked in the office for like a month or so with Mama Ellen, who was doing the vendor course coordination before Ross Glenn. Ross Glenn's my immediate predecessor. Shout out to him. So I worked with her a little bit there in the office, but I'm glad I had a background in office management and and administrative, or else it would have been really like, whew. But it
Well,
Yeah.
was definitely a
well,
learning experience. Uh,
Brother Charles, we salute you because you know that it was a very hefty task to
mhm,
align this park map out all of the spaces and make sure
Yes.
that everyone had the proper measurements with their space, and organizing all of the paperwork and everything that had to go into it. But Sister Sharonda, and I thank you for chiming in online, because that is exactly what we want. This is why we are on a digital space
Mhm.
right now, where we have this podcast, where we can have these conversations, and really bring the experience of what happens at festival into a digital space. So we have, our Facebook pages and our Instagram pages, IAA Festival, where you can share your comments, you can subscribe, and then we're here on YouTube with the podcast. But we want to, we are going to be having some events throughout the year, and just acknowledge that the International African Arts Festival is a nonprofit organization. It is not just an event that happens every year, and it has a very rich legacy. And it is our goal now to sustain the legacy and build towards the future. So that does come with change at times. This organization has gone through a lot of changes over the years. Like, we were at Commodore Barry Park. Prior to that, we were at Boys and Girls High School. Prior to that, we were at the Armory, the Bed-Stuy Armory, and then
Yeah.
prior to that, they were on Claver Place. So this is 55 years worth of blood, sweat, and tears of people, of a number of families that came together to lay the foundation for what you would call cooperative economics, self-determination, making, and we really function on the principles of the Nguzu Saba,
Sure.
creativity and purpose. And so, with that said, with there being change, wherever we are, it is really the spirit of our community and coming together that pushes this forward. And so, with that said, I wanted to introduce our next guest, Brother Baraka Smith, who is a historian and a pillar. We would call him a favorable son of festival, because he has been with this organization since the beginnings. And without further ado, can we bring Baraka
Let
on?
me add
Or
one
you
thing.
want to speak to it?
Yeah,
You
because this
speak to it. You speak to him, B-Way. You speak to it.
I've known Parker since I was about 11 or 12 years old. That's how I can speak to this brother. Always been solid, always been a conscious, righteous brother, righteous man. Lived on truth and lived by principles and a high level of integrity. Um, in another life, I want to be just like him. I just want to be just like him. And a martial artist, excellent father, excellent son. And he really was there when Festival landed in Boys and Girls. It was his father, Baba Mz Moyo, who really pushed Festival at Boys and Girls. And when people talk about Festival, when the time it was at Boys and Girls was what we call the golden age. On this podcast, when we talk about memorable experiences and memorable moments, the majority of the people speak about Boys and Girls. When people talk about Festival, they mention Boys and Girls. Well, I'm going to bring on the brother for his family, his sister Salima, his Baba Mz, and himself, as well as other siblings, Babu, Obana, Zamani. They all played. Zamani was with John Medicine for a while. So they play such a major role. I can't wait to bring this brother on. With no further ado, bring on my brother, my family, my friend. This is Baraka Smith.
Peace, family.
Peace, peace,
Peace,
peace.
peace.
How are
Welcome.
you? Greetings, greetings. Give thanks for the wonderful introduction. I appreciate it, and I'm sitting back. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Shay.
So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here.
Baraka, I'm going to jump right in. I'm not going to waste no time. And the reason why we asked you to be here today is because we're at a new venue. You joined us at the new venue for the 55th year celebration. Your family and you made the ultimate sacrifice. What do I mean? Salima died Salima passed away, excuse the expression. Salima made a transition while working
Ibrahim.
in that festival.
Mhm.
Her name is in the Ibab Itunuds, in the greetings that we do earlier. Um, his father, Baba MZ, made the ultimate sacrifice. He made his transition, moving and pushing festival forward. So with that, with your family giving so much, you saw where we are in our new location. You heard what our vendors had to say, our vendor coordinator had to say. You hear what one of our attendees had to say. Give us your take on what has been done with the new venue. Does it remind you of Boys and Girls? If so, how? And if not, how? Give us your take on it, Barack, please. I'm going to be quiet.
So first, I want to give thanks. I appreciate the question and the way that it was framed, because my family has always played an integral part in festival from the beginning, and because of having the opportunity of having that perspective, I was able to witness firsthand the transition from Claver Place to Boys and Girls High School. There was one year that we were out on Fulton Street and then to Commodore Barry Park. And so the first thing I want to say is that, so honestly, let me just say that, I was a little concerned because Lincoln Terrace Park, like if you're from Brooklyn, then if somebody tells you meet me at Lincoln Terrace Park, if you're from the old school Brooklyn, let me correct that. If you're from the old school Brooklyn and somebody tell you, you know what, meet me at Lincoln Terrace Park, it's going to be a non-cipher. Absolutely not. I will not meet you at Lincoln Terrace Park. But I have to say that the Lincoln Terrace Park of 2026 is not the same Lincoln Terrace Park from 1996, 1986, and so on and so forth. But I'm very familiar with the park. I've been there, on many, many, many occasions, even recently. And so a lot of old school Brooklynites kind of had an automatic thing where it was like, no, that can't work. People were turned off. So when I finally came on, the first day, I have to say, well, first of all, the heat was very familiar. We always get that serious July, those dog days of summer. We always get that. That's part of the blessing. And by the way, Sister Sharonda,
Sir.
understand that that festival when it first started was 7 days long, right? And only in the last few years has festival sort of like become, the 3-day weekend event. But like Beware was mentioning during the golden age in the 90s, the average was like at least 4, but usually around 5 days long. And
Oh,
so it was understood and it was well known that you had to pace yourself. You had to practice stamina. You had to hydrate. You had to take your time, and then understand also that the role of the vendor. Well, everybody has a role to play, and there's a definite amount of intensity. But what I'm saying is the hard work of having to carry stuff out there. You're not out there just sitting. You're working in that heat. So, that's part of the tradition of festival. You got to take really good care of yourself. But anyway, so on the first day this year at festival, I have to say that I was very, very pleasantly surprised because that familiar festival vibe was there.
Shit.
It was there and it was alive. And you know what? I'll tell you something else. It was strong.
Ashe.
It was
Mhm.
strong. Yeah. And so, but now also in terms of the historical perspective, if you were at the first festival at Boys and Girls, then you would automatically right away you know where I'm about to go with this, right? Because the festival when it first came to Boys and Girls was very, very small. It hadn't even expanded out onto the field.
That's right.
Yep.
You understand? Like it was literally like the
Mhm.
festival was confined to that small area, which was, basically a loading dock, right? Where we set up the stage under the, the under area. That's all it
Wonderful.
was. That's literally all it was. And so, you understand how it takes time for festival to kind of fill out a place. Just like we did at Commodore Barry Park, same thing. So, I'm not like necessarily on the board of festival. I'm not involved in any of the backroom meetings or anything like that. But it was very clear to me from the first day that that there were certain restrictions with regard to areas of the park that were not. I mean, they were open to the public and they were open like you were a festival. You go sit down on the grass, do your thing. But you know, uh, there were certain parts of the park that festival wasn't there. So, but it's very clear to me that this is the space for festival to grow. And
Shit.
so also, Brother Charles mentioned essentially, that you know, Lincoln Terrace Park is the Brooklyn wormhole. You understand? Right from there, you could hit Brownsville, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, Flatbush, East New York in less than 10 minutes.
That's
Less.
right. That's
You
right.
understand? The opportunity to have festival kind of like back in, I would say, yes, it is still central Brooklyn, back to central
Mhm.
Brooklyn. I mean, literally, the park is like 1 block away from, I believe, Utica Avenue is the busiest train station in New York City, or definitely one of
Mhm.
the top five.
Right.
So,
Utica, Utica.
Take a
that's
Mhm.
a I think that's a good thing. And like I said, if when you have the perspective over decades, you could see how, the natural path to growth. And like personally, I would love to see the stage out on the baseball field. I would love to see the other lawn, the circle in the middle, heading towards Eastern Parkway. I would love to see those areas being utilized. And
Mhm.
where the stage was this year was kind of like the asphalt. There's like a track and so on in there, and it's like,
Yeah.
it was cool. But again, I look forward to, and I see it, the
Shit.
stage moving out onto the lawn. I see it,
Mhm.
you know yeah. So yes, I was very happy to see that the festival vibe is alive and well.
Mhm.
Yeah. Copy is. Yeah.
So thank
That's.
you, brother.
Hey, I just wanted to
Yeah,
add on to what he
it's a
was
great
saying.
honor to hear your feedback. Thank you.
Brother Charles. So, yeah, so I just wanted to add on the Lincoln Terrace of old, because my grandfather used to live on 99 East 96th Street, 1 block away from that park. And as a child, we never went in that park. That park was the hangout for I should say ladies of the night. And before there was before there was crackheads, there was
Come on, let's keep
baseheads
it PG now.
in there. We keep it PG, but that was the park we drove by. We did not go in that park. So, like much of
Mhm.
New York City now, this is like the Disneyland version of Lincoln Terrace Park, and it was a beautiful park. I mean, it's much safer than it was when I was a kid. I was
Well,
in there setting up
I
the
didn't
mat.
have that past
shout out
experience
to our
because I'm from New
security.
Jersey.
Yeah, well, no,
Yeah.
it was safe without the security. I mean, I was in there pretty
Mhm.
much trying to prior to doing the pre work. I was in there laying out how many booths can fit where, and I was in there till 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I was perfectly safe in there.
Mhm.
Back in the days in the 70s, I wouldn't have did that, but so to Sister Sharonda, everything has a period of expansion and contraction. We've been blessed to have an extraordinary period of expansion with the festival, again, moving from Claver Place to the Armory to Boys and Girls, and then to Commodore Barry Park. But now we're in a period with the turmoil in the world. It's a period of contraction, and so you're gonna have that. But we're gonna expand again and be bigger and better than ever.
So don't worry about the vendors that you didn't see this year because hopefully next year they'll be back. And we're
Sure.
going to be bringing, some, like I said, some of those people also retired. This is 55 years. People that have been with the festival for 55 years, they're retiring. So we're going to get new and even more amazing. We need more people like Sister M. Shari that are actually not just selling wares, but using natural sources to bring things that as you use them and wear them, bring healing. So we in coming years, I hopefully will see more of that. And this year was actually my first year being able to go out to a Dunde, and a lot of the vendors that I saw for the first time at the Dunde were here at this festival because I invited them to come. So hopefully we'll continue to get a nice cross section of unique vendors uh, from all over, that all over the African world. Uh, and I like to see personally, I like to see this is the International African Arts Festival. What usually there's a large focus on African and Caribbean
Sure.
continental Africans. I like to see a lot more products from African American or Africans in America from our perspective because we have to have a fullness of the African experience in this festival. So for next year, hopefully we'll get a lot more vendors from all of the different African perspectives and places on the earth at festival.
We
I let
definitely
it
will.
slide one
Mhm,
time, but
mhm,
because it was mentioned twice, I really and also because it's important to set the record straight. I need to make a correction. The International African Arts Festival, formerly known as the African Street Carnival, was never at the Armory. It started
okay.
at 10 Claver Place
Mm-hmm.
and it went directly from it went directly from 10 Claver Place to Boys and Girls High School
Oh, okay.
for 1 year. It might have been two, but I think it was only 1 year. It was on Fulton Street, and then it went
On the
to
street, right?
Commodore Barry Park. It was
Okay.
Okay.
Uhuru Sasa Shule, the school that
Mm-hmm.
started at 10 Claver Place and then went to 357 Sumner Marcus Garvey Boulevard
Sure.
um, to the Armory. That
Mm-hmm.
was the kind of the timeline. And while we're on the subject, Brother Charles brought up Odunde. I think it's important to say, and especially for this platform, it's important for me to say when I introduce myself as Baraka Moyo that I say that I'm the son of MZ Moyo.
Sure.
And
Sure.
once I say that, I
Moyo.
there's certain things that I am kind of obligated to point out. Again, being that this is the record, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Baba MZ Moyo, along with two of his comrades and associates at the International African Arts Festival, Baba Mensah Wali and
Mm-hmm.
Baba Basia Mchawi, they
Mm-hmm.
started an organization called Kente Productions in the early 1990s, where they were about the business of consulting with other institutions who wanted to duplicate what they had seen at the International African Arts Festival. And
Mm-hmm.
so Odunde, along with Dance Africa,
Mm-hmm.
along with
Or
the cultural the there's several other clients that they had where they literally laid the foundation for these festivals and these events,
Mm-hmm.
not with regard to the Dance Africa, not to the dance concert itself, but to the festival bazaar
The
that's
marketplace.
outside. that
Uh-huh.
was that was the result of Kente Productions, Baba MZ
Mm-hmm.
Moyo, Baba Mensah Wali, and Baba Basir Mchawi. These
Mm-hmm.
brothers, okay, had an impact. They made a powerful impact with regard to our culture up and
sure.
Mm-hmm.
down the East Coast. And, Brother Beware mentioned. I like how you mentioned that the golden age of festival. I'm gonna run with that.
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna run
really
with that.
was the 90s.
But what made it the golden age was that at that time, the International African Arts Festival was the largest African cultural festival in the country. And so this is
Really
the
was.
work. This is the work that these brothers, my Baba, was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Ashe, Ashe.
Shay, thank you, brother, for setting the record straight. I appreciate that, and
Of
I
course. You're
learned.
welcome.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
how about you, Salima? How about you, Baba? Say we can't forget them. I mean, I slept on his couch. I stayed in his house. He was like a dad to me. You know, he was a Baba, not like he was a Baba to me. So
Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Of course. We was building last night. We family forever, bro.
ever
Mm-hmm.
listen. Uh,
Definitely. I want to call on Shari because you haven't said anything for the past couple of minutes, and I know you're bubbling with something to chime in on
you heard
in
about
terms
tonight.
of
Yeah,
a
there's a few.
comment.
It's a few things.
Mm-hmm.
The okay, so just even going outside of me being a vendor and having a business, I also curate. And in that time of me moving, I was in Vegas. I had moved to Vegas, and I was doing the African diaspora event out there that they would have yearly, and that was something that always reminded me of the African festival. I mean, the arts festival here. But something that I with all the years I've been doing vending events, things that I tried to do when I had my own festival or my own events and things, but also just as a suggestion, you just take it if you want to or not. But some certain stuff that I had wanted to share, just with knowing that this is a 3 day event, and just even going back to the young what's your name again? It's small on my, but with her point of being hot, and it was like a lot when it came to just like being there at that space. If it was something to where how
Oh,
you place the
is that me?
vendors, mixing them in with the food vendors, not being too far
Uh-oh.
away from some vendors, because I've noticed that even as a vendor, I will have to go all the way around, leave my table to go and get some food. Where maybe if there's like some vendors mixed in with some food, which can also help with those people who maybe are standing on that line for food, to look over at some of the vendors that may have felt like, oh well, no, I would like some attention over here at my table, something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
mixing it in where the vendors themselves, because something that I did with them, like I said, my time of doing events, I've been to events where they will actually have a person that will come to those vendors that want to have some food or are hungry or don't want to leave their post, where they will come with a cart with some stuff that either they have for snacks for the vendors, or will actually come around, have a menu before the event even starts of what they can get from the actual food vendors before the event started, to where they can at least make sure they have something to eat, to also support those vendors as well.
That's an
That was one
idea.
of the that's the idea, as well as something that I've seen that has actually worked and helped with sharing, instead of it feeling like, okay, you gotta go all the way over here for the food and you gotta go all the way over here for just the vendors. Where I think mixing in and blending them together, even if it's like 3 food vendors per 10 vendors, to be in that area, so that that people can like blend in with the wait line. And hey, while I'm waiting for my food, let me go over here and check these people out with what they got at their table. I think that could be a great suggestion.
Nice.
um Another thing I was thinking was how we go about vending, maybe vendor spotlight, or something that shines light on either vendors who have been there for a long time, or maybe even like not to say like a award ceremony, but acknowledging some of the people who have been there for so long, and they returning or even coming back. to have something like that where they you know
Like
it has
highlighting
it's
history. Hmm.
yeah, highlighting the history from that, and it feels, or even if it's like maybe even a lottery, like when if someone's been there for so long, maybe they can get you know, a discount or something where they feel like, okay, they notice me, or something that shows participation with you guys versus the, you know, with the vendors, that makes them feel like, okay, you
Ashe.
know, just to show not only we're changing venues, but we're also elevating how we connect with, hey, we got y'all out here and it's hot and you're hungry or whatever it could be, and maybe not, and we don't see y'all the whole time. That is like, okay, let me show y'all, hey, I see y'all. Thank y'all for being there. You know, something like that.
Thank
That
you.
could also, you know,
Thank you,
just, you know, just some suggestions.
Okay.
Sharonda. Any last
Yes.
feedback, last comments before we close this thing out?
No, I think pretty much covered everything I wanted to say.
Well,
But I will be back next year driving from New Jersey once again because I'm not from Brooklyn. I'm from New Jersey. And I'll be back.
thank you, and
Okay.
Well,
bring some others with you.
we appreciate you.
I'm gonna try. They just can't, you know.
Pub-
I
Public,
have to see every little thing. So, you
Well,
know, they just be ready to zip by everything, not me. I have to see every single thing that's out there.
Well, I want to just invite you to make sure you subscribe to our eBlast newsletter so you can stay up to date with what's going on, and also to follow our pages on our social media. Everything is IAA Festival. So it's IAAfestival.org. IAA Festival on Facebook and Instagram. And specifically for YouTube, it's Voices of Festival. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share, follow, and stay up to date with us because we will be sending out surveys for the general public to fill out, as well as a survey for vendors to fill out because we love, love, love your feedback. And we do have some things in store for the vendors throughout the year, and we will be improving the experience of vendors next year, definitely. So we
Yeah.
definitely value you.
Baraka, any last comments, my
Mhm.
brother? Close us out. What you got to share with us before we leave?
Wow. I'll just say again that, you know, overall, I thought that, you know, the festival had a great vibe. I enjoyed it. And I'm just, you know, I'm just really looking forward to seeing the festival grow.
Mhm.
Ashe. Ashe. Well, brother
Well,
Baraka, Charles,
can we wait before we close though? We didn't even touch on the evolution of the revolution though. Can we? We
next
didn't
episode,
even.
What?
next
The
episode,
evolution.
you know, the evolution of the revolution,
We're
you
gonna
know.
have to have Baraka back.
Yeah, we got Barack. We're gonna bring you
Well,
back. We want you to tap into that conversation. Brother
Oh, there's
Charles,
so much. There's so much. But
Ashe.
I give thanks. I give thanks for y'all, you know, doing this work. You know, I really I'm happy. That's why, you know, because we spoke, you know, Sister Sakina, and you
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm very happy to see you doing the work that you're doing. So yeah, I want to support it any way that I can. And I can also put you in touch with you know, several elders who are still,
Yes.
you know, with us, who are living, you know, living part of this history, who
Mm-hmm.
have so much to share. So yeah, I would love to be able to do that.
We need
Thank
that.
you. We
Look,
need that. We appreciate you tremendously. And I look forward to the future. You know, the name of this segment is Sustain the Legacy and Build the Future because we're dedicated to putting out 55 more years. So we gotta keep it
Ashe,
moving, you know?
Ashe.
thank you everyone for joining us.
Mhm.
Contact soon, brother Charles. We got plenty of work to do, brother Barack. Sister Sharonda, we got the direct link now, so you're connected.
I
And we
do.
thank
Mhm.
you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we will definitely be speaking to you all soon.
Yes,
All
indeed.
right. All right.
Mhm.
You know, Sakina, really, really. So, I like the feedback we got. and I think it was a demonstration here. It was a demonstration that you can have different outlooks, you can have a different position on something, but it doesn't mean
Mhm.
conflict. There was no
Exactly.
whatsoever on this podcast this evening. Even though you had the
Mhm.
sister that had a challenge, you had the brother that was dealing with the challenges. He didn't take Brother Charles. He could have took what the sister said personally, but he didn't. He kind of stood on the high ground. He shared what he gave, what was transparent. Shared what the experience was, what the intention and the vision is moving forward. She accepted that. It was easy breezy. Instead of confrontation, it was carefrontation. If
Mhm. I like that. Confrontation.
carefrontation.
Yes.
We got a new word on it. And then Barack, he shared the history of where he experienced being Baba MZ's son and what he saw.
Mhm.
That sister that's been a vendor who's colorblind. I mean, this sister is legally blind, making the type of medicine that she's
And
making.
you would never know if she didn't say it, That just shows to how she healed herself and then, shared her gift, and it's her purpose to share her healing gift with others. So
You know,
that's
for me, it's such an honor and privilege to be a part of this experience. I get a lot
mhm.
of flack, oh, you got so much time in
Festival is us. We
yeah.
are festival. Mhm. Definitely. So
That field of feel those kids running around, and when they were jumping on the stages and setting up the vendor stations, and those kids, and you gotta stay out of trouble. And we would go off up until 12 o'clock at night. And our parents didn't come to force us to come to safe. We were out there with the family. You wish you had that experience. That's what brings us to the way, man. That's what we're talking about. Talking to you. 55 years on this thing, man, for us. 5 years on it, they brought us into
mhm. Everything is in divine order, and we pushing and we moving forward with us. So, until next time.
it.
Peace.
Hey.